Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing today? Thank you so much for joining us here for the Streaming Center at 10 in the morning. I'm Ozzy Mora.
I'm John Langeler. Good morning to you at home. Thanks a lot for waking up with us. Ozzy, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Have to start with some heavy news, though, this morning and some breaking news down in the South Valley.
Yeah, devastating.
Yeah.
Definitely a tragedy here. A child and an armed suspect, according to police, are dead following a shooting involving police officers. This was at an apartment complex. And we're just noticing right now, John, that this is also near a park as well.
Yeah, so this is a live picture from the scene down near Maryland Parkway and Wigwam in the South Valley, Silverado Ranch area. According to Metro Police, at about 1:20 this morning, police were then sent to a domestic violence call. A husband had a gun and a child and was holding him allegedly hostage. Officers then shot the suspect, but not before the suspect allegedly shot the child. An absolutely tragic story from this part of the valley. And again, Ozzy, we were just looking at this live picture here. You can see there's a park across the street from the apartment complex on the left-hand side. That's also taped off. This is a video from earlier this morning when the streets were blocked off and it was dark outside, of course. Still very much an active scene, as you can tell. A lot to digest and a lot to sift through in this absolute tragedy. No names have been released or anything like that. Still being looked through by Metro Police, but an absolute tragedy in the South Valley.
Absolutely. And you said that that man, according to police, that woman reported that man was attacking her and attempting to take that child. And by the time police arrived, according to officers, the situation then escalated. That man was armed. He was holding the child hostage, had a gun, and that's when the shooting happened. We don't know much as to how it all went down, but we do know, we heard from police earlier today as well, and they'll have a full briefing with more details in a few hours. We'll bring that to you live as well. And again, this is the third officer-involved shooting for Metro this year, according to the department.
Yeah, our Joshua Peguero is live at the scene right now, gathering details. And as you mentioned, more later on 8 News Now.
All right, Las Vegas Biolab. It's a story we've been covering, an investigation triggering federal charges. So we told you about this yesterday. This is connected to another case out in Reedley, California, Fresno. This has been going on for several years now. So federal prosecutors have now officially charged, this is 55-year-old Ori Solomon, with being a prohibited person in possession of a firearm. Basically, he cannot have firearms, like no guns. This comes after a second search of a northeast Las Vegas home turned up to be a possible biological lab. As you can see there, there were hazmat suits searching through this lab and a massive load of weapons that they found as well. Our 8 News Now investigator David Charnes has been covering this extensively. He was out there at the scene. He was the first to report on this as well. How this all happened real quick. Over the weekend, SWAT and FBI raided a home on Sugar Springs Drive. This was a neighborhood. Neighbors there told us that they knew something was going on. They saw surveillance going on around this home. Now, police used drones, robotic dogs to safely enter this garage filled with refrigerators, as you see right there. They found vials of unknown liquids. We've learned that Solomon is in the U.S. on a non-immigrant visa, which makes it illegal for him to own guns, which I just mentioned. And yet police found multiple rifles and handguns in there as well. There's a lot to this case.
That was one of the revelations from yesterday. In addition to this video, which is really amazing video from Metro Police, it shows as law enforcement was going through this house out near Hollywood and Bonanza in the Northeast Valley. You can see the refrigerators, the liquids that are in there, that at this point Metro Police and the FBI aren't saying what they are because they don't really know what they are. They're being sent to the FBI in Quantico and in Virginia to do more research on and figure out exactly what this is. There's the connection to the federal case in California and a Chinese national who's facing charges there. There's this home here. Still a lot to dig through on this case as well. But that video from inside, it's so amazing to see what they had to go through in that house out in the Northeast Valley.
It took a lot of time. And, Ori Solomon, he's a property manager at this property. They don't know the connection to that Chinese.
Well, aside from the fact that they're both owned by the same company.
Yes. So a lot here to dig through.
Yeah.
All right.
Now to Henderson. Last night, a mayoral debate took place of sorts at a HOA at the Black Mountain Recreational Center down in the south part of the valley. This was the mayoral debate that took place. You see some residents were there. The candidates for this shaping up to be a relatively contentious battle. It is the incumbent mayor, Michelle Romero, and the former police chief, Holly Chadwick. You'll remember last year, former Chief Chadwick was fired before she would not resign. She was fired by the city manager for a variety of allegations. And so Holly Chadwick decided that she was going to run for mayor and try and sort of outline some of the problems with the police department. At this meeting, they discussed issues with law enforcement. They discussed issues around the city. A lot of the focus, though, from neighbors was on growth. Henderson's been growing very fast, basically from east to west, all across the city. And some of the neighbors expressed their concern that it was maybe growing too fast. Mayor Michelle Romero was touting her long experience with the city. Holly Chadwick talked about her long experience with the city's police department. It's shaping up to be a very interesting race, although so far, Ozzy, Michelle Romero has outraised Holly Chadwick by a considerable amount.
Fundraising money,
fundraising,
et cetera. Yeah. And Holly Chadwick is focusing on transparency. And like you mentioned right now, public safety. The worry is public safety, if they could keep up with all that. All right, CCSD door knocking to tackle chronic absenteeism. We told you about this last week. These are several volunteers who headed out in our community to the streets for Bright Futures Walk. So this is actually the second walk that they've done, visiting 800 families to get students back into classrooms. Now, Clark County, this is a way to tackle chronic absenteeism. Now, we have seen, according to the school district, a 15% drop when it comes to kids missing school since the pandemic. But the district says basically that's not enough. There's still a lot of work to be done. So some of the interviews I listened to, some of the parents were saying, I'm trying my best to get my kid to school. Superintendent Joan Ebert was out there herself, door knocking on doors near Torrey Pines and Washington, where they saw the area that a lot of kids miss school from. One big point of conversation was whether fear of immigration enforcement that we've also been reporting on is keeping kids home. Ebert was very direct about this. Now, she says that data doesn't show that's a primary factor here in Las Vegas. She also reassured parents that ICE doesn't have presence on school grounds, and that every office has strict protocols to follow if law enforcement ever shows up. So again, the message from the school district is pretty simple. School is a safe place, and your child needs to be there. You know,
such an issue during the pandemic, the chronic absenteeism, especially up in North Las Vegas, northern parts of the valley. Kids that just didn't go to school once the pandemic was over and kids went back into class. So it's a new tactic to go door to door. They're back out again today to try and let parents know, let kids know. As you say, it's safe, come back to class, learn, it's valuable, it's vital, and it's a safe space.
And one of the things, too, that I was listening from parents I've interviewed, like I said so many times, transportation is always such an issue to get them to school, especially with the school buses not making their way around the entire neighborhood. So we'll follow that.
Let's talk about a Las Vegas tradition. What do you say? Or as a dwindling Las Vegas tradition, Vegas buffets. An interesting report in the Associated Press that looked at whether or not Las Vegas buffets are declining, where it's sort of all you can eat. It's a tradition in Las Vegas. Back in the day, they started just for $1. It was downtown at the Golden Gate, I believe, had the first buffet, which was one of the oldest hotels in town, of course. It was just $1, all you can eat. You spend the whole day and they're just noshing. But they've generally been dwindling away buffets. And a lot of the hotels you've noticed have turned into more like food courts. Like at the Cosmo, Fountain Blue, they have these food courts instead of a buffet. It's being replaced as sort of the big attraction. I don't think it's a surprise necessarily.
Yeah.
I think since the pandemic, a lot of us are like, ooh, I want to go to a buffet. Ooh.
I still love it. I mean, when I was a kid, that's why we would, have our vacation out here in the summer to visit the buffets, because it was so much fun. It was like a family experience, and you feel like a king. Like you feel like you're rich and you can spend all this money on food.
Yeah.
But that's how we felt.
More of everything, more of everything.
Exactly. I want it all.
Well, it brings us to our question of the day. Are cheap Las Vegas buffets being replaced by luxury dining? Daryl's taking a look at this, and I'm sure you've been to your fair share of buffets.
Yeah, so that brought me right to this question. And we talked about the change before and after the pandemic, sort of. So our question right now, scan the QR code, 8newsnow.com/vote. Have you been to a Las Vegas buffet in the last 5 years? We know 2020, a lot of things closed, and they opened about a year later. So basically, post-pandemic, have you been back to a Casino Vegas buffet? Golden Corral does not count.
I heard you talking about that, and I was thinking about that.
There just aren't a lot of them around anymore. I remember as a kid in high school here, the Rio buffet was the jam. In fact, we went there on our senior ditch day from Silverado High School.
Oh, way to tattle on
John
yourself.
skipped class.
And I hope I don't get detention. We'll have to see.
Now I go to the Palms. Have you guys gone to the Palms? All you can eat buffet there?
I'll have to. I want to now. I think the last time I went was to like a circus one with my niece and nephew, and that I believe was pre-pandemic.
Yeah. Well, you have your say right now. Vote, use the QR code, and go online as well. We want to hear what you have to say about buffets.
All right, guys, well, stay with us. We love to hear from you. We'll talk about more weather, and then the search for Savannah Gerthy's mother intensifies. We'll be right back.
So as our family and friends continue to
Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
Hey, it's 8 News Now at 10 here on the streaming channel, home of the pink noise.
I told John about pink noise. He's all into this ambiance noise and stuff.
White
That's how
noise.
you fall asleep.
It is, yeah.
I'm just giving all your info out, you know?
Speaking of weather,
Yes.
awkward transition. Beautiful outside again today.
You're so lucky.
We're all so lucky to have this weather right now. Let's get to Nate Tannenbaum in the forecast.
So as our family and friends continue to struggle with the bitter cold back east and this thing called a bomb cyclone, we got nothing but sunshine. If anything, we could use a little wind. We're developing that brown haze. You can see the trees on top of the Red Rock Resort on the west side of town really aren't moving a whole lot. So we're going to keep an eye on some clouds out here in the Pacific, but they are way offshore. So we're talking about all sunshine for now. Your weather headlines going like this. Yep, all sunshine for now. Temperatures way above normal. Now, we were saying there's no way we're going to set records. We're actually approaching record highs. We'll talk about that. And we will check in on your family and friends with those big ice storms, mainly down in the deep south. But for Las Vegas today, after 74 yesterday, we think we'll do that again. The record high for this date was set just last year, so we did make 80 on February 3rd of 2025. There's the normal high, so we're talking about at least 10 degrees above normal. We do think that this wall of clouds will start pushing onshore over northern and central California in the next 24 to 48 hours. but mostly there's that ice storm stretching from parts of Arkansas, Louisiana through Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and up into the Carolinas. Tens of thousands of people without power. Your most accurate 8-day forecast, nothing like that. Those offshore clouds may bring a slight chance for a sprinkle over the weekend with high temperatures into the upper 60s. But get out there and enjoy as your streamcast rolls on.
Clouds.
I'm still on 80.
I know.
I can't
It's
believe that.
Crazy time. We just never had winter.
Yeah, no. All right. Let's go to Tucson. Okay, so why are we going to Tucson? The search intensifies for Savannah Guthrie's mother. So the Pima County Sheriff, so that's the local sheriff there. This is Nancy, 84 years old. They found evidence from Nancy's home, 84 years old, who they say is believed, well, they say she has actually been abducted from her Tucson home. Nancy, the mother of the Today Show host Savannah Guthrie, went missing Saturday night. The sheriff says this isn't a case of someone wandering off. The family says Nancy is in, quote, sharp as a tack, but she has limited mobility and desperately needs her medication, or they're worried something could happen. Authorities are searching for her. I was listening to a news conference out from my old station out there, and the sheriff is not ruling out foul play. Savannah, according to reports, is in Arizona right now. She didn't show up at the anchor desk during the Today Show, as you can imagine. She's with her family. Last time I read to the sheriff's department, there's a $2,500 reward is being offered for any information. Savannah did also issue a statement on social media wanting their Dear Nancy back, of course. The sheriff is urging whoever took Nancy to please let her go. She needs to be with her family, as in dire need of medication.
Yeah, just a horrible story there. Aside from the celebrity connection of Savannah Guthrie being on the Today Show, just someone being kidnapped from their own home is just a horrible situation.
Very
so we'll keep an
sad.
eye on that. To the government shutdown in Washington, D.C., it is still in effect. A partial government shutdown in Washington, D.C. The House is expected to vote. It may happen any moment now on Capitol Hill. A vote in the House to approve a spending package to get the federal government back open again. It's a package of 5 bills that would fund the Defense Department, among other things, parts of the State Department and Homeland Security. Most of that funding would stretch on till September. But again, there's an effort now for the funding for Homeland Security, Border Patrol, ICE, to only go for 2 weeks. In that time, Democrats in the House and Senate want to revisit how immigration agents, ICE agents in the field operate, adjusting how they fulfill warrants. They would have to take their masks off. We already heard from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. They have to wear body cameras in Minnesota, and soon that'll be nationwide. All of that is an effort, and it comes from 2 deadly shootings in Minnesota and the increased enforcement in Minneapolis. So it's all connected. We'll see what the vote goes on. It's expected to pass and then go to the president's desk.
Let's go to the Neon Museum. Let's bring it back home, shining a light on Black History Month. So the Neon Museum is launching a special display, or displays rather, this month, highlighting the pivotal role of the Moulin Rouge Casino in the Las Vegas Strip. So desegregating the Las Vegas Strip. So I was reading, and they celebrate Black History year round. If you're looking for a way to celebrate Black History Month, though, the Neon Museum is a great place to start. They're highlighting the work of Paul Revere Williams, which is a legendary Black architect who designed their lobby. But the real star of the original sign from the Moulin Rouge, back in 1955, for some background, that was the first integrated casino in the country. It was open for 6 months, but it's where Moulin Rouge agreement was signed in 1960, John.
Yeah, very important. The Moulin Rouge to Las Vegas' history, the African-American culture in Las Vegas. And again, as you say, it was segregated at the time. The casinos on the Strip, the Moulin Rouge had to open in the historic West Side because that's the only place they could open at that time. In those 6 months, it became the hippest spot in town because all the entertainers would go there. It only lasted a short amount of time, but had a huge influence. And you mentioned Paul Revere Williams. He designed the lobby, the La Concha Motel lobby, which is sort of the home of the Neon Museum. It's such a beautiful, interesting spot there.
I need to go.
Well worth visiting and well worth remembering Paul Revere Williams and his designs around town, including the church right across the street behind the Strip. So an illustrious history in Las Vegas. Next here on the big program, we'll talk about some vets going to the Super Bowl. We'll talk about dog shows.
Yeah.
And we'll revisit our
cute.
question of the day. Stick around.
Now with the most local news, this is 8 News Now, live local now.
Hi, everyone. How are y'all doing today? I'm Ozzy Mora. This is John Langler.
Still is and will continue
Still
to be.
here.
It's for me, because I've been at work for a
Yeah.
long time, it's just about lunchtime right now. I'm thinking I might need to visit a buffet.
Ooh, yes.
packed your
let's have some
appetite.
lobster.
Yes, lobster for breakfast. Let's talk about Vegas buffets, Daryl.
Yes, we wanted to know, have you been to one in the last 5 years? And we know the presence is different, sort of post-pandemic. Overwhelmingly, our viewers have not been. I'm in that category, and I could go for one. When you go to a buffet, do you start small with like a salad, or do you just jump right into the good stuff?
I go right for it.
Yeah, let's get into things.
Give
Let's
me-
go right
give
to
me-
the
No fruit and yogurt.
just stack the steaks right on top
I
of
mean,
each
you
other.
pay all this money now.
Right.
The buffet is so expensive. I think last time I went, it was like $180 just for one person. I didn't realize that until I had to
Aye, aye.
pay.
My
Yeah,
goodness.
I know.
The eggs were coated in
I'm
like
about
gold.
to-
That was the good stuff.
Yeah,
I was making sure. I was like, let me put some bread in here.
there's like syrup draining out of your purse as you're walking out.
Literally. Hey, that costs money.
Well, so it turns out it looks like, Daryl, most people have not been to a buffet
No.
here in Vegas in the last 5
right.
years. And that used to be the staple of Las Vegas, but there was a new report, an expose by the AP looking
Food
at
halls.
the lack of buffets and the increase of food halls. So
Yeah.
thanks for chiming in, guys.
We love to hear from you. All right, I'll give this to you, John.
It is Super Bowl time on Sunday, of course, in Santa Clara, California. It'll be the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. And one man who's going to get to go is a local Army veteran. There you see him there, Noah Galloway, who got a gift from Las Vegas Raider Ashton Genty. He and his son will go to the game and get to see it there in Santa Clara. Galloway is a veteran of the U.S. Army. He's a Purple Heart recipient as well. He was on Dancing with the Stars, apparently.
Yeah, finalist. He was a finalist. I read that.
Yeah, so teamed up with the USAA, and Genty has a military background as well as family in the military. So they're going to get to go see the Super Bowl. Should be a great game, of course, and he's going to get to go and see it. It looks like a lot of fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's going with the son, right?
Yes,
what you
going with his
said.
son. Yep,
Oh,
yep.
I love that. We love these stories. All right, let's go to the dog show, Westminster.
Dog Show in MSG in New York City. It is Dog Show Week in New York. It got started on Saturday, but the big event, the main event where you see them all walking in a circle at the floor of Madison Square Garden
Yes.
at Westminster, it's tonight.
Tonight's
the dog show.
night.
2,500 dogs are there. Can you imagine how loud it is in there with all the yipping and yapping and all the barking?
Most of these dogs are like the best behaved dogs.
Yeah,
I
but
was
maybe
reading.
maybe when they're not on the main stage, that's when they cut loose.
They're like, let it go.
So the dog show is taking place. Always a lot of fun. Best in show is today in New York City. Some beautiful canines getting honored and getting some treats, hopefully.
Absolutely. The whole world is there, let me tell
yeah.
you. 17 countries there. This competition is more than just about looking pretty. I mean, these dogs are absolutely gorgeous,
Pampered.
beautiful, pampered. These dogs are being judged based on their agility and breed standards. Now, the finals, like you mentioned, for the remaining groups, including working and terrier groups, wrap up tonight. Did I say that correctly? Terrier.
Yeah, we'll go with that, sure.
I do have to tell you, in regards to herding group, because I don't know why I was looking that up and it
Okay.
just caught my attention. So Graham, an old English sheepdog, officially won the herding group, knocking the German Shepherd off its long-held throne as
That was a big upset.
150th Westminster dog show.
The dog sports books were going crazy with that. Over at the Westgate, they couldn't believe it. It was unbelievable.
I was like, wow. And they placed first, second, third. It's just fantastic.
It's a
I'm
whole
really into
different world.
this. Sorry.
Congratulations. All right. That'll do it for us this morning here on 8 News Now at 10. We thank you so much for watching. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.